blood on the concrete. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you can handle the truth behind locked doors, because once this story starts, there's no walking away clean. The sirens were already fading when the guards found him. In the far corner of cell block D, where the cameras always seem to blink at the wrong moments, an inmate lay face down on the concrete. His name was Marcus Hale, 34 years old, serving a 10-year sentence for armed robbery. He had arrived at Iron Ridge Penitentiary 6 months earlier. He was not supposed to die tonight. Blood crept outward from beneath his chest, thin and deliberate, following the cracks in the floor like it knew exactly where to go. There were no signs of a struggle nearby, no overturned tables, no scattered belongings, just a body, cooling fast in a prison that never truly slept. By morning, Iron Ridge was sealed shut. Iron Ridge Penitentiary sat in the middle of nowhere, a massive slab of concrete and steel buried deep in the American desert. Officially, it housed violent offenders from across the country. Unofficially, it was known as a pressure cooker one bad look away from explosion. Inside, alliances mattered more than innocence, and survival depended on who you stood with when the doors slammed shut. Marcus Hale had made a choice. That choice had killed him. Detective Aaron Cole arrived just after sunrise. He'd worked homicides for 16 years, long enough to know when a case was lying to him. The moment he stepped into cell block D, he felt it. The air was heavy, not with grief, but with silence. The kind of silence that meant everyone knew something, and no one planned to talk. Cole crouched beside the body, studying the wounds. One deep puncture just below the ribs. Precise. Controlled. Not the work of a panicked man in a fight, but someone calm enough to get close and finish the job in seconds. This wasn't random, Cole muttered. The prison warden, Eleanor Briggs, stood a few feet away, arms crossed tight against her uniform. She ran Iron Ridge like a battlefield commander, strict, efficient, and painfully aware that the gangs inside her walls often held more power than she did. Marcus Hale was flagged as vulnerable, she said. He refused protection. Cole looked up. Protection from who? Briggs hesitated just long enough to answer the question without answering it. From everyone. Inside Iron Ridge, there were 3 dominant prison gangs. They didn't advertise themselves with tattoos or colors. They didn't need to. Everyone knew who ran what. The Kings controlled the yard. The Brotherhood owned the kitchens and supply routes. And then there was a coalition, a shadow network that handled enforcement, punishment, and disappearances. Gang wars inside prison didn't look like riots. They looked like accidents, like suicides, like men who stopped breathing in places no one was watching. Marcus Hale had entered Iron Ridge without an affiliation. That alone made him a liability. Cole began pulling records. Hale had kept his head down, worked laundry detail, avoided the yard when he could. But 2 weeks ago, something changed. He'd requested a transfer, filed a complaint, asked to speak with internal investigators. About what? Cole asked. Briggs didn't answer immediately. Instead, she handed him a thin manila folder. Inside were incident reports, partially redacted, detailing contraband routes, extortion rings, and a brewing conflict between the Kings and the Brotherhood. Hale's name appeared in the margins, handwritten, circled in red ink. He knew something, Cole said. And he talked, Briggs replied. The guards were next. One by one, they sat across from Cole in a small interview room that smelled like cold coffee and old fear. Most claimed they saw nothing, heard nothing. A few admitted tensions were high, but insisted Marcus Hale wasn't a target. Then Cole met Officer Daniel Reyes. Reyes had been on duty the night Hale died. Young, nervous, hands trembling just enough to notice. He swore he'd followed protocol, made his rounds, checked the cameras. The feed cut out, Reyes said quietly, just for a minute. Cole leaned forward. All the cameras. Reyes swallowed, only in D block. A minute was all it took. Cole requested the footage anyway. What he saw made his jaw tighten. At 1:17 a.m., the screen flickered. Static swallowed the image. When it came back, Marcus Hale was already dead. Someone had planned this. Someone with access. As word of Hale's death spread through Iron Ridge, the temperature inside the prison rose. Inmates stopped showing up for meals. Fights broke out in the showers. A guard was stabbed with a sharpened toothbrush and left bleeding in the infirmary. Messages are being sent, loud and clear, without words. This was a declaration of war. Cole's investigation turned inward. He questioned inmates who had known Hale. Most refused to speak. A few offered half-truths wrapped in fear. One name surfaced again and again, whispered like a curse. Isaiah Knox. Knox was a lifer, convicted of multiple murders before his 25th birthday. Inside Iron Ridge, he was more than an inmate. He was a broker of violence. No official rank, no paper trail. But when Knox wanted someone hurt, it happened. Cole requested an interview. Knox arrived in chains, eyes calm, expression unreadable. He smiled when he saw Cole, like he'd been expecting him. "Detective," Knox said softly. "Busy place you got here." Cole didn't return the smile. "Marcus Hale." Knox tilted his head. "Unfortunate. You knew him." "Everyone knows everyone in here." Cole slid a photo of Hale's body across the table. He talked to investigators. About contraband. About gangs. Knox leaned back. "Talking is dangerous." "Did you kill him?" Knox chuckled, low and slow. "If I had, you wouldn't be asking." The interview went nowhere, but as Knox was led away, he turned back once more. "Careful who you trust," he said. "Prison walls have ears, and friends don't stay friends for long." That afternoon, Cole received a call that shifted the case. A maintenance worker had discovered a hidden compartment behind a loose panel in the laundry room Marcus Hale's old assignment. Inside was a small, battered flash drive, wrapped in plastic and stained with blood. Cole held it like it might explode, because whatever was on that drive had been worth killing for. And as the sun set over Iron Ridge, locking thousands of men inside with their secrets, Detective Cole realized one thing with chilling certainty. Marcus Hale hadn't just been silenced. He had been warning them. But when they finally opened the files on that flash drive, what they found would tear Iron Ridge apart. Lines in the yard. The flash drive didn't scream its secrets all at once. It bled them out slowly. Detective Aaron Cole watched the files load in a secure room beneath Iron Ridge, the glow of the monitor painting the concrete walls in pale blue light. Spreadsheets, timestamps, grainy photos taken from impossible angles. Marcus Hale hadn't just been talking, he'd been documenting. Every shipment, every coded exchange, every guard who looked the other way. "This is an internal war map," Cole said quietly. The data showed a fragile balance that had existed inside Iron Ridge for years. The Kings controlled the yard and recreation schedules. The Brotherhood moved contraband through kitchens and maintenance. But the Coalition until now had remained a rumor, an unseen hand that enforced order through fear. Hale's files suggested something worse. The Coalition wasn't a gang. It was a merger. 3 rival groups, secretly aligned, funneling drugs, phones, and money through a shared pipeline. And at the center of it all was a list of names that made Cole's stomach tighten. Guards, supervisors, one assistant warden. Someone high up had sanctioned the violence. As Cole absorbed the implications, chaos erupted above ground. The yard went silent first. Hundreds of inmates froze mid-step, eyes shifting, bodies tense. Then it happened, a sudden rush, fists swinging, blades flashing. Kings against Brotherhood. Brotherhood against anyone who got in the way. Guards shouted orders that vanished into the raw. This wasn't spontaneous. This was retaliation. Warden Eleanor Briggs watched from a control tower, face drained of color. "Lock it down. Now." Steel doors slammed shut, sealing sections of the prison into isolated pressure chambers. But the damage was done. 2 inmates lay bleeding. One didn't move at all. Cole knew what this meant. Someone knew about the flash drive, and they were trying to bury the truth before it surfaced. He moved fast, requesting emergency transfers for key witnesses. Men Hale had referenced repeatedly. One of them was Luis Ortega, a low-level Brotherhood runner who'd quietly distanced himself in recent weeks. Ortega had been scheduled for protective custody. He never made it. They found him in the stairwell between C and D block, neck twisted at an unnatural angle, eyes open, mouth frozen in a silent scream. No weapon, no signs of struggle, just another message delivered. Cole slammed his fist against the wall when he saw the body. "They are cleaning house." By nightfall, Iron Ridge was a fortress under siege. Guards were doubled. Lights stayed on. Sleep became optional. Cole returned to the flash drive, digging deeper. Hidden folders revealed recorded audio, Hale's voice, shaky but determined. Conversations captured through vents and laundry chutes. Names spoken in hushed tones. A date circled again and again. Friday. Something big was planned for Friday. Cole cross-referenced schedules. Visitation. Food deliveries. Transfers. Then it clicked. A riot. Not the kind born from rage, but precision. A stage war designed to overwhelm security while contraband shipments moved freely through the chaos. Hale hadn't just uncovered corruption. He discovered an execution date. Cole took his findings to Briggs. She listened in silence, jaw clenched. "If this gets out," she said, "the state will shut us down." "If it doesn't," Cole replied, "people will die." Briggs made a decision that would haunt her. "We keep this internal. For now." That night, Cole received an anonymous note slipped under his office door. "You're looking in the wrong direction." No signature. No warning. Just a truth that fell heavier than the words themselves. Cole reviewed guard logs again. One name kept resurfacing in unusual places, at unusual times. Officer Daniel Reyes. The same guard whose camera feed had gone dark the night Hale died. Cole requested Reyes immediately. The interview room felt smaller this time. Reyes looked exhausted, eyes bloodshot, uniform rumpled. "They are watching me," Reyes said before Cole could speak. "I didn't plan any of this." "Then start talking," Cole said. Reyes' voice broke as he confessed. He hadn't killed anyone, but he had rerouted cameras. Once. Just once. For money. He swore he didn't know someone would die. "They said it was just a meeting," Reyes whispered. "They said Hale was being moved." Cole slid a photo across the table. Reyes with Isaiah Knox, caught in the background of a yard surveillance still. Reyes stared at it, then nodded slowly. "Knox isn't the top," he said. "Here's the mouthpiece." "Then who is?" Reyes hesitated. "Someone you wouldn't expect." Before Cole could push further, alarms blared. "Protective custody wing." "Breach." Cole and Briggs ran, boots echoing through corridors thick with smoke and shouting. By the time they arrived, the damage was irreversible. Cells stood open. Fire suppression systems sprayed water over shattered lights. And in the center of it all, hanging from the railing of the upper tier, was a man Cole recognized instantly. Isaiah Knox. A noose fashioned from bed sheets cut into his neck. His face was bruised, his eyes lifeless. Pinned to his chest was a single sheet of paper. He knew too much. The message was clear. Knox had outlived his usefulness. Cole stared at the body, heart pounding. Knox had been silenced before he could flip. The coalition was burning its own bridges. Briggs whispered, "This is bigger than us." Cole didn't disagree. But as medics cut Knox down, something fell from his clenched hand. A small object, slick with sweat. A prison-issued key. Not just any key. It opened the administrative wing. And suddenly, the truth snapped into focus with terrifying clarity. The war inside Iron Ridge wasn't being controlled from the yard. It was being commanded from above. As Cole looked toward the administrative offices, lights glowing in the distance, one thought cut through the noise. The enemy wasn't hiding behind bars. They were wearing badges. The men who held the keys. The administrative wing of Iron Ridge had always felt untouchable. Clean floors, quiet hallways, offices that smelled of paper and coffee instead of sweat and fear. It was a side of the prison the public never imagined, where violence became policy and bloodshed was reduced to numbers on a report. Detective Aaron Cole stood at the locked door, the prison-issued key heavy in his palm. Isaiah Knox's final message echoed in his mind. The enemy isn't behind bars. The key turned smoothly. Inside, the lights were on. Cole moved down the corridor, each step tightening the knot in his chest. Office doors stood slightly ajar. Computers hummed. Someone had been working late, or had fled in a hurry. On one desk, a folder sat open, stamped with a red internal security seal. Cole flipped it open. Payment logs, offshore accounts, shell corporations, monthly transfers disguised as infrastructure maintenance. The names attached weren't inmates. They were staff, senior staff, and at the center of it all was a signature Cole recognized instantly. Assistant Warden Thomas Kessler. Kessler had been with the Department of Corrections for over 20 years. Decorated, respected, the kind of man politicians trusted with photo ops and sound bites. He'd helped design Iron Ridge security protocols. He knew every blind spot because he'd built them. Footsteps echoed behind Cole. Detective, Kessler said calmly, "You're not authorized to be here." Cole turned slowly. Kessler stood alone, hands visible, expression unreadable. No panic, no surprise. "How long?" Cole asked. "How long have you been running it?" Kessler sighed, like a man disappointed by an inconvenience. Running is a strong word. Managing, maybe. Containing. People died. People die in prisons every day, Kessler replied. The difference is whether their deaths serve a purpose. Cole felt his pulse spike. You merge rival gangs. You let them kill each other. I gave them structure, Kessler said. Without it, Iron Ridge would burn to the ground. The coalition kept order, reduced riots, reduced costs. The state doesn't ask questions when numbers go down. Cole thought of Marcus Hale, hiding evidence in a laundry room, believing the truth could save lives. Hale found out. He said, "You killed him." Kessler shook his head. No, Hale made himself dangerous. He refused to play along. I didn't give the order, but I didn't stop it. The words landed heavier than a confession. Before Cole could respond, alarm sounded again. Louder this time. Different. Friday, Cole said. This was a plan. Kessler's eyes flicked toward the window overlooking the yard. Smoke was already rising. Inmates poured from buildings. Chaos spreading faster than containment ever could. You see? Kessler said, this is why control matters. Cole reached for his radio. Static answered back. You think exposing this will fix anything? Kessler asked. They'll replace me. They always do. Cole stepped closer. Maybe, but today, it ends. Kessler smiled faintly. Does it? A gunshot cracked through the corridor. Kessler's smile vanished as he collapsed backward, blood blooming across his chest. Cole spun, weapon drawn, heart racing. Warden Eleanor Briggs stood at the far end of the hall, her service pistol still raised. Her face was pale, but her hand didn't shake. I couldn't let him talk his way out, she said. Cole stared at her. You knew. Briggs swallowed. I suspected. I was trying to hold it together. Outside, the riot escalated. Fires burned. Sirens screamed. The prison was unraveling. Backup finally arrived hours later. State investigators, federal agents, cameras rolling. Iron Ridge was locked down indefinitely. The story broke nationwide by morning. Corruption. Collusion. A prison run by criminals in uniform. Kessler's accounts led to arrests across multiple facilities. Guards were charged. Supervisors resigned. Official statements promised reform. Marcus Hale's name appeared briefly in the reports. A footnote. A whistleblower inmate who assisted the investigation posthumously. Cole attended Hale's burial alone. No family came. Just a cheap marker and desert wind. Weeks later, Iron Ridge reopened under new leadership. New cameras. New policies. The gangs fractured without centralized control, violence temporarily subsiding under heavy scrutiny. On paper, the system worked. Then Cole received a package. No return address. Inside was a burner phone and a single photograph. It showed a different prison, different yard, different inmates, but the same symbol carved into a bench, 3 lines intersecting into one. The coalition's mark. The phone buzzed once. A text appeared. You shut down one house. The city still stands. Cole stared at the screen, realization settling in with cold clarity. Iron Ridge wasn't an exception. It was a prototype. The gang war hadn't ended. It had gone national quietly, efficiently, hidden behind policies and paychecks. Cole powered off the phone, knowing one truth he couldn't escape. The most dangerous criminals weren't the ones locked inside cells. They were the ones who decided who deserved the key. And somewhere, in another prison, another Marcus Hale was already being watched. If the story got under your skin, you're not ready for what comes next. Stay close. The truth doesn't stay buried for long.